we will initiate the meeting or the conference as it was advertised. Uh, my name is Abdullahi Bitey. I was born and bred in Serakunda, London Corner. Currently, ordinarily resident in the UK, but I live in the Gambia. I am serving as the chairman of the Alliance of Social Democrats, a movement that has the ambition, the idea, the principles, but more importantly, the dynamic projects that are to take Gambia from where it is to where Gambia needs to be, deserve to be, desire to be. This is the purpose of today's meeting, to come and touch your souls, to remind every Gambian, every individual that is living in the country, outside the country, but has any form of connection with and to the Gambia. We have, since 1965, claimed to be independent or to gain independence, a phenomena of which I define to be incorrect and constantly challenged. For we were born independent in the first place anyway. Anyone to come and condemn and put in our minds that we needed to seek independence from anyone or from anywhere becomes the programmer of our today's society. The life that we are living today, the Gambia or the Africa that we live today, is as a result of that narrative which has condemned our ability to even think and know our freedom from when we were born. It is our divine right, indeed, to constantly earnest the notion that we are free. That freedom we want to bring into reality and move away from the delusional democratic ideologies or democracy as a narrative to further control and subject the people to go through processes of needing to even think that we need independence. What do I mean? At the time that you're thinking about needing independence, you are not thinking about being an individual who is co-creative, who's got the ability and freedom to be. So your constant focus becoming engaged in trying to be free. When are you going to be free and start to live and start to be co-creative? The fundamental principle of your purpose of being. And this is why we are coming from a different perspective. We believe that we are on a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual warfare. It is indeed our divine right to claim who we really have been and to the effect of giving thanks to that Creator. We believe that to appreciate our lives, we have to be of purpose, of service. And to be of service, we didn't choose to be Gambians. We didn't choose to be born and be here at this time. It is a divine synchronicity, it's a divine command that the souls today here meet for a purpose. So our challenge is to say that we have been fooled. We have been fooled for a long time. We claim to be now 60-something years old in terms of independence, and yet none of us can rightfully claim that independence. Now, the Alliance of Social Democrats has a very powerful Pan-Africanist ideology. We are Pan-Africanists. We are not politicians. We cannot say we are not in the political field because we are in politics by default. However, we are here because we have tried every single way to support the development, the transformation of Gambia's socio-economic platform and environment by doing so many for so many years. Be it projects, be it financing projects for the Gambian government from way back in 2003 all the way to date, sacrificing for different organizations, being philanthropists, supporting youth and women organizations. We've done it all. However, it's all pointing towards one direction. Unless we shift the current class system of politics, the Gambia will always be programmed, controlled by those who feel they have the opportunity to further exploit the resources of the Gambia, to further exploit the human, economic, and social opportunities of the Gambia. And this is what we need to move away from. Hence, we know, not a belief, we know that the way forward is not through a political party system. It is through a movement, a revolutionary ideology group that will take take the bull by the horn and make sure that we sacrifice every drop of our blood to get Gambia to where it deserves to be. And where does Gambia deserves to be? Gambia is a very beautiful small country, in fact the smallest in land in this region. And therefore, it has the opportunity of geolocational position, very advantageous. We have been blessed by the air, the sea, and the land. These three fundamental blessings of resources we need to explore to the maximum. And when I say one of the ways to give thanks to the Creator is by being co-creative of the resources that you are blessed with. We were told that we were created after all the needs or necessities were created before we had life. The need for living has been already in place. So we are assigned to come and do a job. Our employer has already provided everything we need to do the job properly. We shouldn't shy away from the fact that if we don't, it is our responsibility. If we do, it is our responsibility. And therefore, we have seen from 1965 to date that the best way Gambia could move forward has been given in terms of their political understanding, because we're not here to blame anyone, by the way. Everyone has been doing the best they know how. But the best they know how isn't the best that we need to know how, because we have seen that it hasn't taken the Gambia any further than it had always been. Let's share the resources. We are a cartel, we know each other, and therefore I'll give you the opportunity. And if that goes, someone else comes in, I will come next to that person, try and understand or get close so that I can get part of the resources. So if you don't know someone, you're not part of it. And that we need to transmute, delete that from our existence, because you are the most powerful being that the divine has created in terms of a being that will transform this planet. And we are told that we are here to learn. What is the purpose of learning? The purpose of learning is to know. When you know, you create. You create because there is wisdom. Now, Gambia has been programmed by our so-called politicians for too long to believe that you can only be meaningful if you have a fair share of those who are ruling, those who are in power. And to that I say, you are the most powerful person who puts that servant who claim to be the boss. It's the reverse. So I'm here again to trickle your soul, to remind you of your greatness, to remind you of who you really are, to remind you that politics is not what it had been portrayed to be. We are all political beings. Politics is not about manipulation because I have to shift my bed because I was living in conditions that were not conducive for my need. And I was one of thousands of young people who are still in existence. And this hasn't still changed. This is sad to know that after claiming to be independent for all this while and having all the resources that we're going to talk about, we are still having children living under these conditions. Gambia deserves to be a country of respect because we are creating our own survival. Gambia deserves to be the country that is a good example to every other country in the world because we are blessed with the size, but geopolitically, we are also in the best place to be. We have been blessed with a geographical location or positioning that we can harness and use to explore, to transform the Gambia. Now, if you think I'm talking philosophically, think again. We have specific projects that has been designed to alleviate all of these challenges and have been worked on for years, and it's not something we talk about, it's something we went physically because we are technocrats. We do not have political background. Our background is management, project development, financing, organizational development, community development, accounting. We know exactly what is required to transform this country. Every single part of the country has been researched on. We have the data, we have the fundamental projects that will transform each region in the Gambia by the Gambians and for the Gambia. And to that, we have no reason not to engage directly with the people who really matter, the people who deserve and desire this transformation, these changes. We have no reason to sit down. For if we do, we are part of the problem. If we do, we cannot claim being thankful to Allah. If we do, we cannot look at each other in the eye and say, I've done my best. Therefore, I call upon each and every one of the Gambian and the Gambians' alliances, that is anyone who feel Gambia, to bring home this notion that we can change the country. We can change the narrative. We can have a new trajectory of a beautiful Gambia. We can also provide every single aspect of our living based on the resources that we are blessed with. We are blessed with a lot of resources. We have zircon, we have diamond, we have gold, we have oil, we have silicon, and we have many, many more. Now, a lot of things have been mined in the Gambia, and a lot of things have been hidden and extracted from the soil of this country. A lot of people are enriching themselves right now as we speak from the resources that would have been used otherwise to transform the Gambia socioeconomic landscape. And it is an inevitable act that every single person partake in this endeavor. We cannot shy away from the fact that the challenge is high. It is a big challenge. But the bigger the challenge, the sweeter the victory. And we must be prepared for that victory. The victory is for Gambia to know now that whoever sits there is not talking out of negotiation. We are not interested in a transactional government anymore. We do not want dealers to run this country. We do not want people to permeate and penetrate our economic system through the means of knowing whoever is in charge of whatever. The Gambia has a law. The Gambia has a fundamental book called the Constitution. The Constitution has provided us with the best guidance possible in order to be straightforward, in order to be honest, in order to capture, but also to do the job as per the agreed laws and regulations by the people, and that is the Constitution. Anything that we create outside, anything that we do outside the Constitution only contributes to the so-called corruption that we already know has been sinking Africa for a long time. But also, I want to remind you that we have been labeled, African leadership, have been labeled by many, many labels. As a Pan-African, we know that the weakness isn't because the Gambian or the leader of the African nation don't love their country as much, because they know not much of how to deviate and to resist with resilience of the pressures that are out there for the people or the systems that have interest in exploiting the Gambian resources. We know them. We know how to resist because we believe that the divine created us for that purpose, to protect what we are given, to protect what we are blessed with. It is our duty. We always claim of rights. I don't believe in having a right without responsibility. If you cannot fulfill the responsibilities that gave you the right, your claiming of that right is null and void. Because rightly so, if you are employed and you turn up not once to work, end of the month, if you are to claim salary, it should be questionable. Therefore, we will claim our rights only when we fully know that we are fully exercising and being responsible. Being responsible means you love each other for who you are, unconditionally, because this is what connects us. It's called love, unconditional love. ASD is a movement to bring home the ideology of freedom, justice, and that cannot happen without you cleaning your heart and knowing that me, the Wolof, or the Manjago, or the Mandinka, or the Serele, is a reflection of yourself. Let's create that love. In every heart, there is a place for it to develop. And that's why you are who you are, because you're created through love. Let's reflect on the creation part. The process of creation is through the word. Warugal. Te lolu yàlla daf ko def ci suñu biir ba pare. Léegi nag su fekkee ne ñun joxuñ yàlla a xam, yaa ngi jullit, yow yaa ngi saabal sa bopp ne jullit nga o christian nga, saa yu nekk te loolu mun loo ko reflect ci sa dundin, den yow naxuloo kenn, sa bopp rek nga nax. Naxel bi nga nax sa bopp nag dafa mujjee nekk programme boo gëm mbaa buñ la gëmloo, ndax lu ñoo dundal lu bari tey jàng naa, am naa xam-xam, am naa am-am, mun naa lii, loolu am na solo torop, waaye lan la nekk ci xol bi loolu la ñuy seede. Parce que lam bari xam-xam bi lim bari yëpp, man bi lim yaatu yëpp, ak am-am bi lim bari yëpp, yow lu ci ndaw nga cee mun a jëfoo at any one point in time. Su la ko yàlla dénkee dafa am lu tax, and that mooy sa warugal pour nga jël loolu askan bi mun cee jëriñu ci anam bu yaatu, moo tax ñu séedal la ko. Tey doomi aadama yaa ngi tëdd ci lopitaan bi, yow yaa ngi taxaw, ndax xelaat nga ne yow mënoon nga faa nekk. Loolu lay fàttalil ki nga xam ne moom la ñu ooyee ministre, o kañoo wax président, o kañoo wax directeur, o kañoo wax manager, nga reflect on that. Tey booy jël sa sutantaay o di sol sa xaftaan bu rafet, di taxaw di puugaru, di wax ne xale yaa ngi kontaan pour ñu mun a dugal ba xaalis sa poos, yaa ngi jël xalaati kooku, yaa ngi koy yablu ba pare kooku it yablu boppam pour sax am jotaay di la déglu. kon maa ngi wax ne ñun suñ taxawaay du dekkal li fi nekkoon waaye indi loo xam ne mooy jëmal réew mi kanam te loolu rek moo ko mun a jëmal kanam mooy li ñuy ooyee movement maanaam mbootaay bi nga xam ne kañoo tànn pour mu jiite moomu ko kañoo tànn pour mu jiite amul dogal pour mun a def li nga xam ne moom la ñi fi nekk di def lu leen neex ñu dogal kooku dooleem lim nekk mooy gom ne moom dañ ko fa teg pour mu liggéey te mouvement bi ñoom ñoo amee kàddu ñoo amee doole pour mun a taxawal mbaa jël képp koo xam ne mooy war a liggéey ak kañ jiital noonu ñu koy war a wax président maanaam doole bi ci askan wi la nekk ndaxam du lu ees constitution bi joxe na ko waaye ci biir constitution bi wane na ne président dafa war a mun naa appoint ministre mun naa jël ay ministre ñu liggéeyal ko mun naa nekk jiiti armée bi mun naa nekk loolu lañ bugg a mu jeex kala abal boot fu ko neex ngaa xoolee te tey bu neexee ñun ñëpp ñu ne nañ oote ñu nekk benn pour ñu mun a dem wecci jëfa nekk loolu lañ amoon 2016 gisuñ woon dara lu mooy nañ génnee ka fa nekk tey ñun ñëpp ñu ngay jooy nag dafa ne kañ fa def taxul mu génn pour ñu génn ci loolu nag dañ war a xalaatin bu bees dañ war a am gis-gis boo xam ne dafa utee ak gis-gis bañ amoon ba pare am jubluwaay ak jëmuwaay boo xam ne moo ñoo mën a yóbbu ci wécceeku boobu nga xam ne moom la ñuy oote moo waral ñu taxawal mouvement bi jiital koo xam ne dañoo seet ndax kii loxoom set na ndax kii waxkati dëgg la ndax kii Gambia jaraloon na ko balaa tey ndax kii sax am na xam-xam bu mu yoree réew waaye ndax am na yërmande ndax it li nga xam ne tey li ñoo oote crisis ñun li tax ñu ne crisis dafa am mooy liñ lim ci angale ndaw yaa ngi ci biir drogue ñu ngee yàqu ñi leen ngee dof ndaw yaa ngee dugga ci cagatu ñu ngi ci yàqu ñu ngee yàqa seen àdduna waaye it ndaw yaa ngi toog amuñ liggéey di seet lu ñuy def te su fekkee ne amuloo jubluwaay seytaane dina la jox liggéey ñun ñu ne ndaw yi nga xam ne moom mooy banxaasi réew mi banxaas bi gën a dëgër ndaw yooyu noonu dañ leen war a sàmm ci anam bu nekk ñu aar leen ci anam bu nekk te niñ leen a aaree mooy yëg li ñoo dunda niñ leen a aaree mooy xam li ñoo dunda waaye niñ leen a aaree mooy déggu ci li ñoo def am yërmande bu em ni suñ warugal la ñu jël matuwaay yiñ war a jël pour ndaw boobu am jubluwaay boo xam ne utee na ak xelaati dugga ci drogue mbaa xelaati dugga ci prostitution mbaa xelaati dugga ci leneen loo xam ne baaxul ci moom ndaxam yàlla soppu ko sax kon ñu ngi leen a wax ne ñun suñ xelaat dëppoowut ak politicien bañ daan ooyee politicien man ba ma taxaw cañ ak yu yàgga biir Bununkakunda ñu ooma ne naa wax ci kàddu ndaw yi bokkuma ci politique dañ ma fekk maa ngi play football la ma njëkk a fàttaliku mooy yéen a fi taxawoon ndax suma papa yeeg suma yaay ne di ngeen ñu defaral pompe te yéen a ngi nii di ñëw yéen a ngi duuta ci yoon bi because suuf saa ngi bari te yéen a ngi digga ne di ngeen defar yoon bi lan mooy tax man ma gëm ne li ngeen fi wax di ngeen ko def te fi ma waxee yéen ñi suñ compté at yooyu ak léegi ëpp na fanweer ak lu teg ci at te ba tey yoon yooyu nga mel ni mel kon naxaate politicien yooyu lañ wax ne ñun nañ ci génna sàcca bi li ñuy ooyee sàcca du dara lu mooy kooku yëg-yëgam rek ne bu nekkee ci place dafa war a am moom xelaatam fa la tool maa ngi oo kooku ne ko xelaatal ne kay dee ca lopitaan ba nekk Farafeñe mbaa ka doon am doomam bi génn àdduna fii parce que bagage yi garab yi ñu ko war a jox mutut yow ba nga xam ne yow lañ jox nga war a génnee xaalis pour jënd loolu mbaa yow mi nga xam ne jënd nañ garab yooyu nga jël ko yóbbu ko ci pharmacie pour sa boppa xelaatal ka doomam bi génn àdduna ndig ñaaka boobu su fekkoon ne yow la dal pour rek nga am tuuti yërmande boo demee bay jël loo moomu nga am ci tiitaange tuuti xam ne ka ngay lor te ka nga ñi nga bokkal département ki ngay lor nekkul di ministre o di président ki ngay lor mooy ka nga xam ne mu ngi war a am mbay mu baax waaye amut engrais bu doy mbaa jàngaluñ ko sax ni ñoo war a béyee béy bu baax te li ko teree am mooy yow mi nga xam ne sa buggee bu ëppa moo ko waral sa ñàkk xam mbaa sa ñàkk ngor moo ko waral maa ngi dànkaafu ñëpp pour ñu xam ne Gambia bu fekkoon ne tey liggéey nañ liggéey bi nga xam ne moom lañ war a liggéey duñ génn di lebi ba tey fi nga xam ne soo xaymaa doom yi juddoogut 2 fukki at ci kanam ñu ngi jël bor boo xam ne ñoo ko war a fay mbaa fanweeri at ci kanam ñi war a juddu teg nañ bu ndoodu bor si seen kaw ba pare te juddoogul loolu mun nañ koo faaxa mun nañ koo fanqa ci anam boo xam ne li ñu yàlla sédda ñu defar ci koom-koom bi nga xam ne moom lañ war a dundee duñ dem di ñaani duñ dem di lebi te it duñ dem di yelwaani tey Gambia place yu bari ka nekk bitim réew moo ko yore mooy liggéey di yónnee mooy liggéey di tabax Gambia li government bi mun a wane ne def nañ ko wallahi bariwul te at yiñ fi toog bari na bari boo xam ne ak xaalis biñ leb fuñ ko dugal yow nga war a xalaat ne kon sa warugal mooy man ndaw laa man maa moom politique bi man maa war a génn dem sànni ji karta pour génnee ñi nga xam ne saaga bul jël xelaati Gambian bi foog ne you can twist it around ne di nga am sa so-called piece of paper buñ binda a degree te tubaab bi yow daf la contrôle sax ba jox la degree boobu noonu nga ñëw ne danga koo naxanteeg say askan càggante weesu wut loolu yëpp sa askan weesu wut loolu te it yëpp sa boppa weesu wut loolu parce que tey la Gambia gën a am ñi ñoo ooyee ñi am kayiti diplomas ñi am degrees moo xam muy bachelors moo xam muy masters moo xam muy PhD tey la ko Gambia gën a ëppale waaye tey la Gambia gën a dellu gannaaw ñan la ñun lañ jàngoon free ba degree yu bari yi di am ña fi nekkoon lañ daan liggéey ba Gambia tey foundation boobu ba tey moo fi nekk ñooñu amul woon degree yu bari yi yëpp lañ amoon mooy pas-pas ak farlu ak déggu ci liggéey bañ daan def tey Sénégal lu bari lañ jàngee ci Gambia ngeen xam ko oo ngeen ñàkk koo xam lu baree bari ñu ngi leen a ñee tey fii lañ ko jàngee li système biñ fi amoon dafa defoon ndaw yi mag yi ñëpp am jubluwaayu Gambia tey boo dëkkee Serekunda nga génn dem feneen nga am fa jotee keneen jógee Serekunda du la faale because lañ fi daan dunda génn na fi ñun community lañ woon moo xam nga jógee Banjul moo xam nga nekk Kombonkamo moo xam nga jógee Brikama danga amoon that pride tuugare pour doon ki nga nekk tey Gambien bi boo dajee moom Angleterre maa nga dajee moom Hollande maa nga dajee moom America dafa am sac pour won la ne man Gambien laa maa ngi ñaawlu loolu trop parce que soo gëmul sa bopp amuloo cofeel ci sa bopp kon yow li nga doon danga ci gën a ñaaw bay nëbbu lan moo ko waral tey parce que xëj na amuloo puugare pour wane ne lii la Gambia mel boo jógee Rwanda nga ñëw Angleterre keneen jógee Gambia mu dem Angleterre ngeen uti liggéey yow nga am master's degree kooku am bachelor's degree nga am a little bit extra experience kooku amul experience very high chances kooku am job bi than you la da ko waral kay joxe liggéey bi amul interest ci kenn ci yéen lam am intérêt mooy lan la réewam si ak sa réew lan la sa réew mun a jëriñ réewam loolu lay xool tey ñun nit ku ñuul soo dawalee oto biir Angleterre ñu taxawal la li ñoo ooyee stop and search lan moo ko waral because joxuñ cër fa nit ku ñuul bi jógee ka jógee India dafa dawal duñ ko taxawal ka jógee Pakistan likewise te ñun ñëpp dañu classify ne dañ bokk ci minority groups yi waaye ñun suñ noteel ci suñ complexity bi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko am ba muñ suñ boppa ndax réew mi ñu jugee amul njëriñ ca réew moomu oo wane wuñ ne am na njëriñ ci àdduna bi li ñoo dunda lii lee tax nag ñun ñu ne nañ am jubluwaay matuwaay bi nga xam ne dañuy jël réew def ko comme ñun ñoo ko moom bokkuñ ci dañ ko moom li nga moom nag bu baaxee yaa ko baaxal bu bonee yaa ko bonal kon nañ jël responsibility ne Gambia ñoo ko moom Gambia ñun ñoo ko war a wécci ñun ñoo ko war a changes boo xam ne dafay dëppoog suñ bugga this is not fantasy nekkut xalaat bu munta nekka xalaat bu mun a nekk la ndax yàlla may nañu lépp liñ soxla pour wécci dundin bi ak dund bi niite tata ye government na kodo min yalon ko million saba le tam itala wo signaro isa haybano nyaadi le ila balafa wobe muntole ila sondomo aka muneta ka fokonte mu hadama dingolti nga wo miralo soto min lafta Gambia sambala dulato mi ya lonko ma foko nyato tade bayri nyato ta mu kuleti mi ya lonko molta fole wati bari ma mira ko yala minin fan lonne ndol ka ko matale ke wati parce que na miralol be tan samba ko male so to nyato ta be commence la dami wolen na miral nyati hanin na karang system na education system o be nyami o be nyanta falinal na health system o be nyami wo be nyanta falinale amanke ko bi ye mole long wole nyanta tinala ye kusoto bari a nyanta kela ko ite ila hamomu minti Gambia dingole munti ye Qur'ano le karambang ye school le karambang ye métier le karambang ila lodula mu muneti Gambia kono ite nim president o bele mahama kilin soto darajo la karola anin kumaya la karola al bele kumayata ka Gambia sambanyata bari nite fango mela value long wole katinna ika motambindi nyala fo woyeke alati. We have seen that with Yaya Jammeh. We have seen that with many other politicians. Ntoleke dundi, ntoleke samba, ntoleke ke kuti o moti mi yalon ko imanke wuti. Nyanta wole bulala. Let's stop the praise singing. Ngam kol muta anyanta kela nyaming. Ninge bula doku wala. Anun teleke jo. Ni mon doko ke nyante bondi la je ngamo bula je mi yalon ko obe doko kela. Bari mbake la nyaadi le mbete ma ko la ka je ko fengo fen isula tamin na pour que wo doko ke ajama wo be kerine andum government damale se wo keno bari government futala je na tara ila ngani yo man senia ila dimdingol ola dingol government wo kala na tara imang miral nya soto miral miya lonko ni information to share. Aliajele ko I won't dwell into ASD Bake, but we are not a political party. I keep saying that we are just an only ordinary Gambians who have total need to take responsibility to transform. Why do we have the need? Because we are bestowed the responsibility by being who we are. And so being who we are, we honor and cherish those responsibilities and are ready to take it full and head on to make sure that Gambia is transformed. It's transformed not only through the sweet tongues of individual praise singing, but it's transformed through the hands-on, hearts-in, and connectivity of honesty, authenticity, but more importantly, the divine love that emanates and dwells within. So for now, I'll just say thank you, and I will entertain as many questions as there are, before which, if there is anyone who would want to add on, Your Excellency, in terms of what has been shared, we can do, and then who is one of the communication instruments, if you like, of ASD, that the politician role is a campaign management role. So he is the campaign manager as per our political activities of ASD, to give deliberation on and speak to the people as per ASD ideas and ideologies.
Badin be konton badin jongal di soli bal be konton na baken kontan ta bake di ngali kumandi aliene idam kumma jampi a kontano warta bake asewo warta ngali kumandi men na manke tan kaya doron no men be long kulom bare nemu kumandi ya kumandi dalilo men na foy sa faye ngali kumandi men na wala men ko banko be situation o men to sain ten aba koleari bafel ko kolea do mun nyanta ko bondi wala mu kaccati ko kacca ate fono la journaliste on koma bayra tele kasen fono ko no moliyaji yo contenta bake na chiamano diamta ay kuma fo delle na local momenti wala mo indi ko banko ko sono mento banko be koleari bakene ya fo meye ima fo meye be alo ko banko be koleari yo mone dun so o kolea bondino ngere nganna kiskisiro wala ke ngatamero ke ngaje ko ngelde men signin kolea bondino teli kam wala mo a excellency te honorable madam Marisol nga tambindi nyato ka bula noma ka banko nyine ka karafama pour ko lame be banko ka asabon do bar ni na taji be kardol bi je niya fay ka fale musolo ani o mamata muso sikeno president be amam folo gambia janda mal yo a excellency mu molete mo me yalon ko ay hino soto musukunda ke kunda dindin kunda ay hino soto mo men du ye hino soto ay bala fa soto niyo tambindi ye banko te kayadi ala tumado mbela feri men na banko kan aso kemo mo me yalon ko aka boja kata marseoto kuja kasam price o men na ayalon ne kanjo kasam price o men alon ni ma futata musolima nin kanjo mu darasita lulleti ni musol kaya ko tannano jo aka fo hani batu ngasam taworo la o momente ka musoli sebenti yandi o moti fani nata banko ti kayadi wala to ndikita ko abe musoli fasa la le musol dun noli sebenti ya so to yoli fasa muso kala finyine la ko ninga kusoto nganding ni ma ko e ka sa konkema bandere ke ole ndele ko do soto bi usaba ngole mira manyo nyine ola moto oda muso du no e senso to kanyene mira ko mbatu ngake ndingliye ninkema fundita dawda e salon ko yes kare fulana kelo mun bandere ke ole ndele ko mena ninga ko do soto do mina ko le mira ando banko be posono mento nindiamu ken senate banko fali nola banko ben telephone din ke olde ngel lenyanta gulla ngante o city nana sama to dum ngante o city na banko fali dunia bita kan nyame dunia be fali kan me banko do liye ni tata je wala be nyame anim be gambia be nyame salim banko nde man ta to karan ke de bari ngamur karan ke bari safu no ko afrika banko jama bige ngamane Afrika banko tije jamte man sinu dame ngafal tenis ye nyame laftan na banko fone kenjo nya Gambia ya fanso ibala ni Gambia ya fanso to nani broda sol nani dingni medikata bagwele ka fa ba ko no betalala ndemu moti ndemembe sire nya in 2007 ndara bagwela nga 1150 euro ngole jo kata bagwela in 2007 ya jamelen sayni na ko do ko Gambia jam ngoke munela ya jambita ngalon ko Gambia ko so men do kute kere nte man to akarange nanda nga sembo soto nga hammo soto pour kan na dimbale em fama ni na ma koy kadu nga moli jele mediye nani baba nyul samba maka ibela moli ma koy ka ase meten de la mando ko soto gambe jam wala nan ko manata bagwe anu nde nyon jamani aje bita do ko leti janin do ko bidam be sila janne nganna moli ma koy aku yaka jumale te tarje la muso be je de bidam e la muso sa sa de sa ci kanu ya samba loktano ni ding sa manule bari yete ko mandi telephone ne ding man kende la muso man kende awdi ku ya bela ite bo jara no la de ba ate keno la mona na te keno la kulete gambia so to be fanna kilingle la ne gambia talasi la wuli kilinti mo tan sayni lulo dole a soto e mo tan sayni lulo be fotare to men taje wolle a soto ko rako no mo tan ni duri bije mo kilin ya soto bo be safu no la de ba ata keno la mune so keno ngambulo di nyola ngake ba kilim fa kilinti membe banko kan ngabondi kana jibe ko karnin kari wulutan yen ko ba jibe la ko ndenen kari bota ba kilim fa kilinne mbole chusla pour ay tambi hani le mistake la le al nga jibe ko mensi banko sambano hani ko rako ni me alpha be bolaje mensi abuka jibe karamu dinke ke balde dinge ke ba nim fati je wala nyanda korra mara ngole fo hanide faka jibele nin tati je jumale be korra sambanola aka korra karafa wolem kafu ko karam ke ba tembe korra dida hani iba jibele le men responsibility tano ebe yen nyaton kaya dila wala anu gambe be ko sono mento sainte dindin ke ba be nyan tambulo kafula nyoma banko be bulo men kono ngapondi nga excellency tambindi honorable madam marso ko nga fanan tambindi bang ni nga tambindi amanka nyama amaka nyama ndema mo fode nga faale nga ente be soron folo lan tele ka do mbita le fo status nga fo ko de lengi selek ni tombo nga kato faye bar ni lahi di tambindi make ji nga nga le be soron folo lan tele dunya be baji ko yela campaign manager ya soron bari ben soron na dalilo nan ka ba ken to nyale anto ko kambe ko sono mendo ndel natel bele nyanta kafula o kafu ba keno la nyaade ndel be kuma kama mem fola atelle ba 50 dunia ko no pour dunia yaaji kumo do bije niya fo amambeng moli kalon ne kariye mem fo amambeng bari kumo do bije niya fo hana sukiyata nyaawo nya abenda mol kalon ne kariye ko mo va su dara la bara pental anto ko ngali kumandi wala la banko be ko sono mendo mbeke bakilim fakilinti ngambulo di nyola karanna karambalo bango ko solo mento ali nga fali nimma fali na gambia man telefode ando ma telefo mina musol mel nyininna fol bita wulula wol dingil be men na fo dingil wol fanal dingil bita be futula fo be dingila wallahi ngeli wonna life be betala bal wala life be betala de anon birin side no momo nyanta e dingla sama plan ngali kontom bake askeno atoro journalist do bidi bita kandulato ninna kumo tinyata o montenirti na betata mbal be tentula mbal jayla nifta jamba ko assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh
Sane campaign manager and abaraka bake ila kumo kuma da bagale it's a good reminder for molbe yamo I just wanted to give a little bit of the reason why, as a movement, we chose Madam Marisol to lead with her brief speech.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to all Gambians, Gambians at home, Gambians abroad. Assalamu alaikum. Well, it's been a long, hot day. And as always, we call on this press conference to talk about the issues of the Gambia. But first, I would send my greetings out to all the elders of the Gambia. The head of state of the Gambia, Mr. Adama Barrow, His Excellency Adama Barrow, his family. I will send my greetings to all the party leaders of the Gambia, the imams, the priest, the bishop of the Gambia, all the governors, the alcalos and chiefs of the Gambia, women, men and youth of the Gambia. I'm sending my greetings to all of you. This message right here today is about what we are going through in the Gambia. Li nga xamne mom lañ nekk di dunda ci Gambia. Comme ni ma waxoon ci anglais di nuyu ñëpp ñi nga xamne ñoo nekk ci Gambia, bokk ci Gambia, taxaw ci Gambia from jiiti réew bi, the political party leaders yi, chief yi alkaalo yi, bishop yi, church yi ñëpp maa ngi leen a nuyu ci seen tur ak seen sant ak seen taxawaay. We come here today to talk about all the crisis and everything that has happened or is happening in the Gambia. Yes, we did see the president giving his speech at the National Assembly. I will start from there. And it's about the oil saga. And he has confirmed that we have no oil. But meanwhile, we're watching all these TVs from Senegal and other countries telling us we have oil. Now, what I want to say on that is we're not going to dwell on that as political party leaders, as opposition that don't have the access to such. Because as oppositions, if you, the citizens that elect these people in office, cannot have access, then definitely we don't have access to. We're in the same pot as you, but be rest assured that we will get to the bottom of it, and we will know if Gambia or Gambia's children are privy or will have access to their livelihood or their future by knowing if we have oil or not. If there are deals under the table, we will uproot those deals out, and the Gambian people will know what we have. So his speech at the National Assembly, for me, was disappointing. Because you see, most of the time, we have greater issues in this country. Telima wa si angale moy. Gis nañ president bi jox na kaddu si National Assembly di wax affaire diw bi ne amuñ diw. Waaye loolu yéen amu leen ci access, man Marisol aw ma ci access, politicians si fi toog yëpp kenn si ñun mënuñu am access because dëkk bi dafa mel ni ña fa toog dañuy nëba information. Lañ war a wax won ko askan bi xam ko duñ ko def. Waaye tey toog nañ si télévision Sénégal ñu dégg Sénégalais boo xam ne oo na Gambien yi di leen wax ne am ngeen oil. Toog nañ ci biir dëkk bi gis fi ñëpp di jàppante ay tubaab di fi jàppante ay Sénégalais di fi jàppante di duggaat ak génn ndik lañ ne am nañ diw. Waaye bu fekkee ne suñ njiiti réew moo toog téye kàddu ne amuñ ko bon ñun ñëpp dañ war a noppi ne amuñ ko ba yàlla def ñu wecci nguur indi toog ñu ufan la suñ aleel bi nekk. Parce que loolu moo fi ses so nañ bàyyi waxi diw ba bu ñu yàlla mayee ñu mun koo wax am na lawyers yoo xam ne nag ndeysaan ñu cee xar seen tànki tubéy yi lawyer Mbay very young lawyer dynamic pour mun a find out waaye yëpp dina génn incha allah li gën a important tey mooy naxaate bi dafa bari the foolery is too much and this is why we form a revolutionary movement. I keep telling you guys, once you're in this realm, they say you're a politician, but there are different kinds of politicians. There are different kinds of politicians. We are in 2025. This is June. By 2026, you will see all kinds of politicians because everybody all of a sudden wants a piece of the pie. Even some of you journalists that I'm seeing here, probably some of you will say I'm a candidate. I will not be surprised. Because this is where the president that is sitting right now have created this phenomenon of you have to be in the system to make it. You have seen some of your colleagues. You know, why? Because of ñu ci boori nguur gi wala ci biir nguur gi, they're making it. So why not? Why not? Who are you not to be stand to be a president? Why li ñu wax fii tey mooy dañoo ñaax Gambien yépp ñu taxaw. Am na lu fi xew bu yàggut mu disappoint nit ñi yëpp mooy lan parti bi nga xam ne dafa oote ne moo fi gën a mag mooy UDP dama ko dee wax all the time dangaa toog nga dóor sa gën a maa fi gën a mag si lan yow bu fekkee ne yaa fi gën a mag bon régleel sa kër boo fi gënee mag régleel sa kër parce que boo ko réglé wutee te yow yaa fi gën a mag coow li bari na bu fekkee ne mënuloo régler sa kër bon naka ngaa régler réew te buñ fàtte ne 2016 candidate ba sa UDP la jóge councilor si ngeen a gis nii mostly UDP la mayor yi ngeen a gis nii UDP la so au lieu ñu génn di xuloo si seen biir ba di ko indi ci biti ba pare ne kenn du ci wax ba ngeen ko indee ci biti moo tax ñu am ci kaddu di ci wax boo leen bëggutoon ñu wax nag ngeen denc ko ci biir seen biir kër buñ leen xamal seen suutura waaye ñun ñëpp dinañ ci wax parce que tey bu fekkee ne dañoo wax affaire endorsement wala alliance bon ku nekk sa kër gi dafa war a régler ndax du sa kër gi su régler wutee naka la ñoo amee fit ne dañoo alay na yow 2021 man Marie Sock endorse naa UDP 2021 ah leena day dinaa leen ko wax ñu jox ma cër bu rëy bu mut sek waaw jox nañ ma cër bu mut sek xaw ma woon sax ne am na issue si biir ba yàlla def loolu jeex ma ñëw toog nekk Marie Sock continuer Alliance of Social Democrats 2026 mooy ñëw it's a whole different ball game it's a whole different ball game mu des nag si yéen Gambien si toog di xool di seet li fee xew you're all watching excuse me and you can see what is happening doo leen dof xam ngeen li xew seen doom yaa ngi jàng ñu ngi toog mënuñoo liggéey demuñ school xamuñ waaye am nañ xel yow bu fekkee ne yow jàngaloo sa doom la jàppale mu wax la li xew it's time ñu ubbi suñu xol yi ubbi suñu bët yi parce que ka nga xam ne mënut a régler këram ka nga xam ne mënut a régler boppam am na yow yenn parti leaders yu am ne régler seen bopp sax mënuñ ko régler seen kër yi mënuñ ko bon naka la ñoo régler réew naka la ñoo régler réew te ñu ne ñun ñëpp dañoo taxaw fii pour xeex pour génne fi Adama Barrow you cannot hold the president accountable dama ko dee wax all the time duñ mun a xool ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi government accountable te ñun régler wuñ den ñu bàyyi leen ñu continuer parce que nit ki boo buggee xool ki toog accountable yow da nga war a régler da nga war a wane melukaan boo xam ne tey boo ko taxawee ñëpp dinañ ne kii dina utee ak katoo waaye imagine ci biir présidence bi ak ci biir NPP naka la jaxasoo ñoom si seen boppa régler wuñ the house is not in order the country is not in order nothing is in order now if we want to beat that shouldn't we be in order shouldn't we be better shouldn't we be examples of who we want to be so that we can lead but if we are doing the same things just like they are what is the difference tey soo déggee ñu bare ne néegi UDP mu ngi jaxasoo bon et Adama Barrow dina continuer xanaa UDP rek ñoo fi nekk UDP rek a fi nekk o Mama Kandeh mu ngi dem si NPP xanaa Mama Kandeh rek a fi nekk xanaa du ñun bokkuñ woon si ñu sos GDC where's the majority of the Gambians where's the silent majority I'm calling all of you it's time to stand ngeen bàyyi seen xel bu baax si politicians yi nga xam ne ñu ngi génn ñun nag duñ toog fii di wax bu bari yéen ñëpp gis ngeen problème bi nekk si dëkk bi seen njiiti réew bu mu nee ñëw toog jaxaraay xool leen si seen biir bët léeg-léeg la ngeen foog amut du dégg ñu ngeen liggéey ba tey bonte day warul leen a toog di xool ñun mi nekk opposition di ñu xool accountable ne nii ak nii ak nii yéen ñeen a am responsibility bi léegi parce que ñun ñëpp taxaw nañ ba am ngeen ci buuñaa moom des na si yéen ngeen taxaw xam fi ngeen bokka wala fi ngeen war a dem bokka taxaw ak ñooñu jogante waaye di toog ne Adama Barrow will win again because you want Adama Barrow to win again. That is a lazy mindset. That is a lazy mindset. What you need to do is to say, I am ready to stand with such. Or this is where I am. And we fight the fight for 2021. 2026. 2026 is not about taking Adama Barrow out. We are not going to make the same errors we did in 2021, in 2016. 2026 is not about Adama Barrow. It's about our sovereignty. It's about us Gambians and what we have to move forward. You want Ibrahim Traore? You can get Ibrahim Traore in a woman. It doesn't have to be a man. You can get Ibrahim Traore in a woman. It doesn't have to be a man because the men you see, most of them don't have the cojones to do it. Do you understand? And that is why you need to stand for that. We need people that are ready to work. We need people that are ready to ask questions. We need people, and you guys should not be afraid. You don't have to be a journalist to ask a question. As Gambians, you need to stand up for yourselves. Hey, ñun mun nañoo jël suñ kenn ñu gën a def dellu fi ñoo dellu ñu toog fa di leen seetaan because yàlla xam na ne dunda bi fii dafa miti yàlla xam na ne dunda bi fii dafa miti te nit ñi amuñ xaalis bi kuy an $3,000 du mun a jënd saaku maalo right now kii an $3,000 du mun a jënd saaku maalo du mun a jënd diwlin ak li ko def si biir cin bi pour tooga loolu kenn mënu ko sedde yàlla. So Gambians, it is your right to ask questions. If you're in a political party and you cannot ask questions, then get the hell out of that political party. You should be. 24/7 in our movement, people challenge us. Prior to him coming in, he challenged. And because he was satisfied, that is why. Right here, the same. And many others. And we are not We don't fear anyone but the Almighty Allah to answer your questions because then you just sit and digger. Gambia is not for sale. Gambia is not for somebody to get rich. Gambia is a sacrifice. So for sacrifice, you lay down for your country. Just like in America, they're laying down their life for their country and call themselves Americans. It's the same way you lay down your life for your country and say, I am a Gambian. I barely tell people I am Aku. Because as an Aku, in our compound, we had everybody working there. Everybody was with us. What we eat is what they eat. Even as we have these people in our compound, when I have to do my chores, my grandmother will make me go and do my chores. Lamin will go and do his chores. Because we are one family. It's not about Lamin, or it's not about Alpha, or it's not about Keba. It's not about tribe. We Akus, you know, we don't have a tribe. We came back home and called ourselves Creoles. Who knows? Look at the geography of West Africa. Who were the majority? Mandinkas, right? Fullers. We lost that identity. Every time, every time you watane lolu muy le ma joko firnde yi mu nanti marine mbula waye maneko mbula I'm telling you the truth billahi sit down let me tell you so we don't have that problem and until you own up ne Gambian nga fatte tribe sibiti billahi dinga muna taxaw nga liggéeyal sa dikka billahi dinga muna taxaw nga xéxal sa dikka parce que bo déggé 2026 ñi ne do or die because guerre la. So yow guerre bi nga dem xeex pour Gambia change xanaa yow danga ko xeex based on your tribe boo leen a dem Olympics tribe moo leen fa yóbbu boo leen a tukki bitim réew si airport yi bitim réew tribe moo leen fa yóbbu lan moo leen fa yóbbu do as a Gambian the flag of the Gambia how do you raise the flag of the Gambia high is by owning up. America is great is because they take their flag and throw it high, put it high. But you Africans in the not all we see we are tribe. They have already divided us by tribe and regions and sectors in Africa, and we are still living in that slavery mindset. And it's high time we begin to own up. You want to be Burkina Faso? It's not going to be easy because how many times they attempted to his life? How many of our men are ready for life attempt here? Seen góor yi ngeen am fii ñuy taxaw ñu bëgg a nekk Ibrahim Traoré te gisuma ñi sol mbubi soldat ñaata ñoom suñ leen life attempt buy jóge America jóge feneen ndax they are ready to stand like him and have the guts and the audacity ñaata of them ngeen dégg su ñooy wax ñu wax tubaab yi dégg leen duñ ko nangu because they are all part of the system that is begging behind them. I don't have that fear. Man ben tubaab duma yap. No foreign national will disrespect me because I am a true African. I sold my Africanness in America. I talked about me being an African woman and a Gambian to the point where it brought me a lot of problems. But I stood tall as that African woman that fought for who she is. And that is what each and every one of you should do. Because it's not just about Gambia, it's about Africa. Let's talk about a woman in the presidency. This is not about Gambia. Gambia is very small. Today, how many women do we have in Africa leading? Do you know if Gambia selects a woman right now, there will be a drastic shift, not only for Gambia, but the whole of the West Africa. And it's not just any woman, a woman that is ready to stand and speak their mind and take their country to the next level, just like Senegal and like Burkina Faso. It will be a revolution, and that's why you need a movement. The reason why we're having all this tribal nonsense, all this religious nonsense, is because of this political mindset which was here during colonial era. This is all neocolonialism. They put that mindset in your heads. In a political party, you have women president, women mobilizer, youth president, youth mobilizer. The NPP has sacked their youth president. Just to show you how this, you are so indispensable. They can just sack you like that. You're not significant. You sack your youth president. How can you sack your youth mobilizer? Because that's how they see you. You're nothing but a mobilizer and a president. You're a sector in their governance. That's why when they sit in office, you have no women sitting on the round table, only one or two, just like a sprinkle, like a dot, just to show that we are being fair by throwing two peppy mal off of put one where we are gender whatever. And the same with the young people. So are you going to stand and continue that mindset till when? You want change? You want development? Then you need to be part of a movement that is inclusive. You look around us here. You look at some of the other people members that are here cooking. They're all part of the movement and they all have a voice. I am a woman. If I had a political party, do I have a men president and men mobilizer? The whole constitution was designed for a man. But that's not right. There's no equal opportunity. There's no equal opportunity for our children. That is why all of you are marginalized. We need to break the cycle. We need to have a revolution where we say enough is enough and this is the way we go. When we go in to the government, we can invite elderly statesmen that have sacrificed their life for the Gambia to sit with us and reform the Gambia for the future of you and your children and your grandchildren for tomorrow. And that will be something they will leave behind. Lo xamne ñom ñep dañoo ñëw bokka ñu nekk an executive body ci biir suñu nguur gi ñu toog ñu liggéey ak ñun reform delloo leen ko yéen bu ko defee suñu wàccee ñun ñu retire yéen ngeen continue dëkk bi am nag continuation ku jiite dafa ñëw rek xool li tubaab yi day def ok président bi su toogee li ak la war a def first 100 days li ak li. So that this is how other countries are working. Everything is already there. It's a template. It's just to move on. They just change a little bit. But it takes all of you to be part of that call. Tay waxtaan bi loolu la. Tay waxtaan bi duñ fi toog di wax affaire diw am na diw amut. Politician bu toog di wax affaire diw te amut clear information. Waxut leen dëgg. Parce que information bi doo ko mun a am ba nga toog si biir xanaa nga nekk lawyer mun a dig out te foog nga taxaw ne da nga taxaw pour loolu rek nga mun a am information yooyu because nguur moo ñu ëpp ñun ñëpp doole waaye tamit askan bi nga xam ne moo fa def ñi nga xam ne ñoo oo seen boppa nguur ñun ñooy nguur gi waaye ñun ñoo leen def as executive yéen si seen boppa each and every one of you mun ngeen a la daan ñu génn ci biti ñu toppatoo suñu réew it takes all of us collectively man kàddu bu gëta boobu laa am pour wax leen tey bugguma cee gudda loo leen am questions mun nga questions you can come. That's Mr. Bitey as our chairman for ASD. That's Mr. Sane, our campaign manager, and myself as the independent aspirant. Thank you all so much for coming, General and Jeff, and I'll wait for that question.
I'm sorry, I'm suffering from cold, my voice, huh?
You should not even speak.
No problem. Basically, I want to talk about the petrol aspect. You understand? You made mention of that. You could not have it. Us could not have it as general citizens. We also made mention of Senegal. We see Senegal, when they are fast approaching to election, they are positive. One of their main agenda they were selling out was digging out information from the government, literally about their petrol. So right now, if you guys are going to say that, or if you are saying that any politician, or most of you people don't have the information, and the only thing that you can do is when government change, how do you expect us to go with that?
Well, this is the thing. We have information, enough information that we have, which is what we do our findings and have. I came here before and I told you about people who came to our office and said they have A block and so forth, right? He talked about, he knows more about, so we do have idea. But when you really want to know the whole truth, my dear, we are not privy to that as citizens. Even though I'm a politician, I'm a citizen. I'm not privy to that information. I cannot call Dr. Sisi and I need the information. If I go into the government today and said, as a politician, I want to know what's going on, they're not going to talk to me.
But you must have your means to generate it from them. That's
How?
what we expect from you people.
You are the journalist. No. You, the journalist, you have the means to get that information for us, for the citizens of the Gambia. That's why you are a journalist. A journalist's work is to do investigative journalism. It is you to get that information. Me, I'm just a citizen that is standing as a politician to set the record straight. I have my information and I know what to do when elected to be able to get all what I need to get to the bottom of it. And all the Gambians will have access to that information because it is your right to have that access.
I would just want to say that when Her Excellency mentioned information, remember there are hard facts data that needs to be shared that can be evident. And your source of information, as much as you are a politician and can have inside information, there is a tendency of a shift in that information as it develops. My experience in the oil sector with the Gambia factually tells you that there is a discovery of blocks of oil, which is rigs, that have been identified on and offshore. So there are probably 6 in total, 4 offshore and 2 onshore. Now, if we go in depth to unveil all the information, which I will cite the ministers of energy who have been here and have convinced the former president and the current administration to go through certain negotiations and agreements, even having a company whose job is to explore and exploit oil. What does that tell you? There is a company called FAR. It's an Australian company, FAR Limited, right? They are what we call Purpose Service Vehicle Company. Purpose Service Vehicle Company means a smaller entity of a bigger company to take on contractual agreements on their behalf. So Petronas and Petronum are all part of those organizations that are the bigger companies, right? So if we are to dwell on the information individually, as you were explaining, PASTEF used that because PASTEF access to the information was the individuals were inside the government.
We were in the system before.
Right? These are the guys who have first-hand information because they were part and parcel of either the exploration process, the taxing of those, because there is a system, there is a way in terms of getting a rig in a country. The first is to even find out if it exists. Now, there's a lot of money involved to doing that. And the person or the company that will be buying that rig are not the one that are going to exploit it or explore it. They just have something that is said, there is a quantity of oil in there. They make an agreement with the owner, the country, and make that payment, right? And pledge that they will put a value to that rig to certain extra value. Meaning if they buy it for 10 bill, they will pledge that they will put a value, meaning they will do more extra research and how much they, how deep you have to dig, what kind of equipments are required, what the time frames are, all of that, it requires money. They said they will put that on. And then it will add the value from 10 bill to maybe 20. And then they will sell it to onward the actual company that will come and exploit it. Now, you have to have a purpose service vehicle in order to cut corners. Cutting corners is where these irresponsible negotiations have been taking place. You will never find a company whose sole responsibility is to exploit oil and come and have an office here at Turntable, at the Energy Ministry Energies building, without you having oil. It doesn't make sense. If it does, you tell me. But then we will explore, when it comes to political information, we have the right information to share with the people about the oil, about the hospitals, about everything that concerns the Gambia.
Okay.
Make no mistake.
Yeah,
Just in
we
summary.
are not going to do, you see, today Senegal is going through the same problem. Pastef had made a lot of promises based on political talks. I don't do that. I am a woman, duma wax lo xamne duma dige te duma wax lo xamne awma ci lu óor waaye suma information bi nga xamne mom la nek di gaana dama ko gaana te xamne pare na pour liggéey towards lolu when we hit the ground running. We advocate for 2 terms, even as an alliance. Listen, I am an independent candidate, right? Just like Adama Barrow. If I go into office today, 2026, I have zero right to open my political party because I didn't go there by myself. The alliance came together, which is the alliance of everybody in the country. They came together and they put me in that office. That is why I said to you, even my cabinet, I cannot choose for myself because I didn't go there by myself. So we will have an executive where people will apply and then we'll vet so that we can be all fair and in favor and put the people in there. The people it doesn't matter whether you are UDP, whether you are you were already in NPP, or whether you are no party, or whether you have been in, as long as you are in Gambia and you have the country at heart and you have experience, you can work with the candidate. Number 1. Number 2, 2 terms is more. 2 terms is more of what we want right now. I said to you earlier that the Alliance of Social Democrats, when in office, we are going to select leaders that have been here. Maybe the likes of Halifa Sallah, some elderly statespeople that have given their life. Even Ba Usaino, if he didn't make it through, which I don't pray he didn't. I'm not saying that he's not going to make it. UDP, please. Why the man is he can be part of that executive. The executive boobu nonu moy indi ñi nga xamne ñep dañ am naka tudati xoli Gambia liggéey nañ xeex nañ sacrifice nañ lu bari ci dëkk bi pour Gambia dem kanam. Ñun buñ toogee man dinaa leen jox opportunity boobu ñu bokk ci li nga xamne ñun ñëppay toog di bind nak reforms yooyu pour mun a jël dëkk bi nak jox ko suñ ndaw yi parce que foog ñu jagar ko. liñ foogoon ne dafa waroon a am 2016 amut waaye mun naa amati in 2026 ma invite leen ñu nekk part of the executive di liggéey ak ñun ñu set reforms yooyu noonu bu ko defee dëkk bi am future loolu mooy mun a yóbbu dëkk bi kanam. first 5 years yi bu fekkee ne Marie Stock defut lim war a def, the alliance is a pressure group. That pressure group will like, madam, your minister is not doing this. Your minister is not doing that. They will be sacked. Madam, you yourself, you're not doing. At that 5 years, I will be sacked. Because the alliance can say, no, she's not performing to our expectation. it is high time we look for somebody else. And Gambia has to learn to be able to do that until they have somebody who's ready to work. You see, and what that does, tey su fekkee ne man dama dugal ma ragal ne su ma performutee dinañ ma daax lan lay def damaa liggéey because aw ma fenn fu ma wéeru aw ma political party aw ma ñii ñëpp kenn xaw ma leen sama ministère yi si xaw ma fan lañ jógee. What will we do? We will work. But I will make sure my ministers will work because what? If they don't work, they're going to mess me up. So I don't want anybody to mess me up. So we will all have to perform and we will have no choice but to perform. And the ones telling him toggle, because what? Ragal nañ ne liñ mean duñ ko mus di amati. Because some of them have spoiled their career in the eyes of the Gambia. Some of them have completely damaged their career. So they already know their last bus stop is Adama Barrow. And they want to ride that bus another 5 years because of a nini yahu biñ jaaxa xëy na Adama Barrow gën a jegal ay yoon gën a jegal lu nekk nit ñi door di fàtte xam nga ñu door di yéer because Gambia dafa am xol yërmande saa daaw la toog nañ fii mu bugg a wàcce ñu ne ko dee toogal mu toog 30 years gannaaw si gannaaw ñëpp a ci sonn Zembi Jaay Jammeh ni bugg a wàcce ñu ne ko dee toogal gannaaw si bi ñëpp sonnee mu dem so su fekkee ne ñun mun nañ koo def saa daaw dañu génnee ko ñu toog ñu génnee Yaay Jammeh then who are we not to be able to take the president out? Because you're 3 years ago, you're just transitional. You may la because of the constitution, 5 years la. Lolo kiko wahon, moy kinga hamne haritam la, papam la, lawyer la, mo wahon ne date buko fi ken tuda. Lolo constitutional rights am la. Gambians yep nangul koko. Constitutional rights am la mu def first 5 years. Legi mu demaat second 5 years. ñëpp votal ko mu dem xanaa léegi nag Gambia njukkal biñ ko war a jox nañ ko ba pare Gambia is not for sale Gambia du moom moo ko moom ñun ñoo ko moom delloo nañ la njukkal bàyyi nañ la fa ñu votalaat la nga dugaat bon ñoon def nañ li ñu war a def xanaa bëggu leen ak génn ak seen cancati bu rafet génn fii nii mu nekk loo xam ne dañ ko raax mu tabax ngeen cekees dem ba ci tali bi instead putting time in away tey yéen a ngi yëpp journaliste di ngeen enu seen daala enu seen caméra yi enu yëpp teg ko seen bopp because fii yëpp a ngi am poto how many years 60 years and you call that independence now you talk about ECOWAS troops coming here from Nigeria for what for what these are the things that you guys have to do investigative journalists for what are we not peaceful bu dee dañoo dem guerre ñu wax ma dem jënd camouflage parce que man yeguma guerre bi fee nekk hey naxaate bi dafa bari dafa jeex so you have already asked 10 questions next
start from 2003 when I first brought an airline project. It was called GamAir and it was a 10 million pound project which was equivalent to the Gambian GDP at the time. The ministries that aligned with that, Ministry of Communication, Information and Technology, Minister of Transport, Ministry of Energy, and the State House had created some so-called advisors to the president, all of whom were involved. Involved in that, an airline requires what we call an AOC, Air Operator Certificate. And the intention wasn't to get a certificate elsewhere to come and operate in the Gambia.
For the sake of
So
time,
the ministers that are involved, I will not name names, but not only the ministers. It is from GAIPA, which is the main body to, expand on projects and important export, to the ministries that are aligned with this. The latest one I mentioned, it was a health-related project, right? The minister has appointed us to meet weeks, months on end. We met some of the directorates. We met some of the directorates at the PPP, which is public-private partnership, or public-private partnership, and the Ministry of Finance. Now, the people that ask you for money, they ask the money for those people, but they are in the in-betweens. Because remember, it's a transactional government. We have had the car, the car power, the one they were supplying NAWEC. We have had people with private jets landed at the airport and then be driven to the State House to negotiate and sign contracts. We have right now talked about these feeder roads that Her Excellency was talking about. Have you ever seen a tender being called? Have they gone through the process of actually tendering and having bids from different qualified bidders? And through that process, the contract be awarded? So these are transactional governments where you go and give pledge or give money so that you will get contracts. Now, someone who is bringing investment has no need for you to help them because you're the one who needs that project. And you in turn put conditions that, hey, we need to give a brand envelope to the State House, someone who is the head of the state, or we need to give a brand envelope to the minister. This is what's been happening. When it comes to the time of naming names and putting evidence forward,
we don't need to
have
name
that.
names. What he has already done that. I've went through the same
We
process.
have so many of it.
It's a norm. Do we have any other questions? So we can we don't need names.
We have
What's up, guys? Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I just